The obstacle is the way, turning trials into triumph. Your greatest potential, your uncapped potential, is all about you overcoming these obstacles that you're facing. I'm going to talk about Ryan Holiday's book today and summing up the book. Basically, it's to live to your full potential. You must overcome all of the obstacles and the challenges that you face in your life and convert them into opportunities, convert them into strengths. And there's three key disciplines to doing this, and that's what I'm going to cover today. And to look at this, he's a big proponent of Stoic philosophy. And Marcus Aurelius, he says, one of his quotes, the impediment to action advances action. So what stands in the way becomes the way. And I'll say that again. Whatever stands in your way right now, that is the way. So what stands in the way becomes the way. If you don't know how to look after your nutrition, then that is the obstacle you must overcome. And that's the opportunity to actually get your greatest health. If you're not sure how to do your marketing, if you're not the best at sales, that is the obstacle. And that is the opportunity to become better, to gain strength, and that is the way. Because the impediment of action advances action. So there's three key tips to overcoming obstacles. There's perception, there's action, and there's will. And this is how we look at every single obstacle in front of us. So perception is how you look at these problems. Action is how you tackle the problems into actionable parts and how you break them down. And then will is how you cultivate that inner being, that internal dialogue, that self-belief, that hope to conquer the difficulties that stand in your way. So I'm going to start with perception for you right now. Your perception is how you interpret what's happening to you, how you interpret the obstacle, because two people can see the exact same obstacle in two different ways. If I tell you right now you're no good at marketing, if you're not good at marketing, you can allow this to define you and you can go, I can't get leads, I can never grow my business. And all of a sudden that's the defining moment of you giving up on business, closing your business and going and get another job and working for someone else. Or I can say you're no good at marketing. The data might say you're no good at marketing, but you say to yourself and you go, the perception of this is, I must get great at marketing. I must be the best marketer in my area, in my state, in my country to grow my business, to change these lives. And with this, because there's two different perspectives, we can see the same obstacle, that same challenge as two different results if we look at it in these different perspectives. So I want you to manage your perception on how you see these challenges that you face right now. And if you can calmly observe of what's happening and then identify ways to turn it around and chunk it down to small tasks, then you can start to move forward. I don't want you to allow emotional impulse to start clouding your judgment and how you actually act upon these challenges. And when we look at this also, there's any event, there's two types of stories. There's objective facts. Okay, that's actually what happened. You lost your job, or you didn't get any leads, or someone left your business. And there's the subjective story. So deciding whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's unfair, whatever, this is the story you're telling yourself. That reminds me of Jocko Willink. No matter what, if it's a good event or a bad event, he says good. Okay, because if it's a bad event, if they made a mistake, then good, we learnt, we move forward, we can overcome this challenge and obstacle, we can become better. If it was a good event and they stepped up to the task and they managed that project well, good, because we did well. So no matter what, I want you to take that outlook of it good. So then you want to remain objective about your perception. So remember, there's objective facts and subjective stories, but I want you to remain objective as much as you possibly can. I want you to remove yourself from the equation. This sort of stops the subjective thoughts coming through and these stories coming through. I want you to pretend you're giving someone else advice, then pretend that they're going through this challenge that you're currently facing or this obstacle you're currently facing. And what you do, you make it more logical because it's not happening to you. So you go, what is the facts? What is the data? What can you learn from this? How can you advance forward from this? So remove yourself and pretend you're giving someone else advice. And then you have to understand that you have the power to choose your own way. You have the power to choose your own thoughts and responses. See, this is another part of perception, and it reminds me of Viktor Frankl, the famous quote, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given circumstances, to choose one's own way. Now, anything can happen to you, but you get to dictate the emotional response, and you get to dictate the actions you choose after that obstacle or after that challenge. So there is no good or bad events. There is not. There's just perception. There is an event and there's the story you tell yourself about the event. And your emotions, they can definitely get the better of you. especially when it feels like you're surrounded by problems. COVID and whatnot's gone through over the last year. There could feel like there's problems everywhere. But if you give into your impulses and you feel overwhelmed, and all of a sudden you're going to start to get stressed, when you can't react calmly, I want you to take a deep breath. Understand that perspective, perception, in the scheme of things, is it really a big deal? And if you can take that breath and go, okay, what can I do today? I can't change the future. I can't change the past. I can deal with right now. And if you take that breath and understand it's not really a big deal, then you're going to act like it's not a big deal, and your perception will start to shift. When you panic, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to deviate from the plans. You're going to start to act irrationally. I want you to take control of your emotions. I don't want your emotions to control you. And I want you to ask yourself, when you're starting to feel emotions rise up, when you face these obstacles and challenges, ask yourself, can this emotion help you change the situation? If that emotion of anger or frustration or fear, if that can't actually help change that situation you're currently faces, don't let that emotion drive you. Choose a better emotion. Ask yourself, what's the best emotion that I can choose to drive me in this given circumstance right now to overcome this obstacle? And then start to choose that, because you have the power of choice. Remember, if you're doing something for the first time, okay, it's definitely going to start to bring up more fear. For the first time, if you've never done a seminar, okay, you're definitely going to be fearful. If you've done 100 seminars, you've done 1,000 seminars, you're talking to hundreds of people, obviously it's not going to be fearful. But the obstacle is the way. That first seminar, that first obstacle, that is the opportunity to build your strengths, to be able to do multiple seminars, to change thousands of lives. And then you can change your perspective. Since you're the one that decides what your perspective is, you do this by taking a 1,000-foot view. There's 2 steps. You take a 1,000-foot view, pull yourself out from this, circumstance you're facing right now. You get to see the bigger picture over the year, this one problem, this one obstacle you're facing. You get to look at how insignificant it could actually be. And if you look at that and you span it over the course of the year, you can go, okay, this isn't such a big deal. I can move past this. I can overcome this. And you can start to reframe how you interpret the event. If you're not the best at sales and all of a sudden you can start to tell yourself the leads are bad, I'm crap at sales, I can never get better at sales, no one wants to buy from me. Or you can reframe it. Every no is one step closer to a yes. So I need to get through as many no's as possible to get to my next yes. You've reframed it now. And every single time I do a call, I'm going to try and change this person's life. And the more I do calls, the more comfortable I get with doing calls. And then the more yeses I'll get as well. So if you reframe how you see these obstacles, all of a sudden you can look forward to them instead of fear from them and walk away from them. And there's definitely things in life outside your control. You can't control the weather. You can't control other people's actions. You can't control other people's thoughts. There's expectations, and then when you don't get those expectations, you're going to start to feel resentful. You're going to start to feel frustrated on people. So start to focus on the things you can control. You, your effort, and your attitude. I don't want you to choose to complain. I don't want you to feel helpless. I don't want you to choose to find any other blame in there. I want you to find the ways you can overcome this obstacle and gain power in yourself to become better, to reach your potential. Don't waste energy on things that have happened in the past. You want to move forward and act what's happening right now. The last part, when we're looking at perceptions, I don't want you to overthink. I don't want you to dwell on the past. I don't want you to worry about what's going on in the future. I don't want you to ruminate on things either and try and find meaning by every little thing. I want you to focus on the present today, right now, right in this next minute, from now, and focus on what you can control. I want you to take one step forward, and you just take one step forward every single day. Rome wasn't built overnight, it was built over time. So one step forward to overcoming this obstacle that you're facing. Don't want you to settle for any type of mediocrity. Don't let others' mediocrity define you either. I want you to challenge yourself. I want you to put it just outside your comfort zone. I want you to take that bridge of hope and walk across the bridge, get uncomfortable and challenge yourself and step up to the plate and start swinging for those fences. In any situation, there's always going to be opportunities. A job loss can make you find a better job. A business failure can make you build a better business, or really find another career for yourself. A new competitor coming into your industry can help push your customer experience forward. And business closure makes you start again with more wisdom. Every obstacle, every challenge is an opportunity to become better and actually live inside that potential. So this is moving into part 2, it's action. Okay? So in the face of any obstacle, we can be overwhelmed, we can procrastinate, we can avoid the problem, we can feel sorry for ourselves, we can go into helplessness, or we can make the most of the situation. The problem will only be as bad as you decide to make it. It can be huge or it can be small. It's how you interpret it and then how you act upon it. You want to try and start acting straight away. You might grasp the opportunity and get started today in this first step. Take that movement forward, because an object in motion will tend to stay in motion, but you have to take that first step forward right now and step forward every single day, even when you don't want to step forward. Remember, athletes get the job done. Don't be the amateur to wait for motivation, to wait for the right moment. Get up, get moving, whether you feel like it or not. It's only a failure when you quit, because a mistake is literally that. It's a mistake. It's a mistake. You just take another shot and that's it. You dust yourself off, you get up, you take another shot, you learn your lessons, and you take your lessons learned into that next shot moving forward. And then it's defining pathways with action. You define, this is pathway A, this is pathway B, this is pathway C. And if I get knocked off with pathway A, then I just move to the next pathway. I just move to the next pathway. Having hope means infinite pathways forward to achieve your goal. And you don't get happiness when you get to the goal, you get happiness in the journey. I want you to stop worrying about the end result. Remember, your potential is found in overcoming this obstacle. That's what it's all about. It's in the journey where you find your true self. I want you to focus on taking pride in every single sales call, or every single seminar, or every single ad you put up, or every single training session you do, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And reframing your problems is everything, like we talked about before. It's not you're bad at sales, you just have to get better at sales. It's just, I'm not the best at sales yet. I'm learning to become the best at sales. Every sales call I do, I have the chance to become better and better every single day. And then the last part is will. Okay, this is you, to endure. You must cultivate and confront obstacles over and over again. You need endurance. So you're going to face adversity in life, whether you like it or not. It's going to happen. Everyone faces adversity. But before it happens, you can prepare yourself. You can create that mental toughness to be able to move forward through turbulence. You can go, this is how I act. This is my primary movers. I have stimulus and response. I get to choose the way I act on it. I get to choose the way I face obstacles. I choose hope. I get to choose my character traits. I get to choose discipline. And then I get to choose my habits. You get to choose before the obstacles even arise how you will confront them, how you will tackle them, because that's started up here in your mind. And when you're faced with an obstacle beyond your control, don't give up. Simply accept them, find people to help them, and move on. And if you can't overcome it, accept it and move past it again. Remember, a mistake, it's just a mistake. You get up, you dust yourself off, and you move forward again. And I want you to be grateful for your obstacles. You got to be grateful for the bad days, because it makes the good days so much sweeter. If you only ever had good days, would they actually be good? You need to have bad relationships to appreciate the good. You got to have bad days to appreciate the good. You got to have bad training sessions to appreciate the good ones. These obstacles that you're facing, they're there for you, to teach you, to make you better. So don't try and ask them, I wish these obstacles someone else faced. I wish they weren't for me. I wish they weren't. No, they're there for you, to make you the best you, to help you find your potential. And when we look at this, like the biggest thing, this isn't a morbid quote, it's memento mori, remember you must die. And this is one of my favorite Latin quotes. It's not a morbid statement, but it puts perception, action, and will all in one phrase for me. Because it reminds us that obstacles, they aren't that bad. They aren't that bad in the scheme of times, because this is just one obstacle, and I'm going to die, and this one obstacle isn't going to define me. The action is paramount today, because you don't know if you're going to get tomorrow. So you've got to take action today, and that all obstacles will go away eventually. So with this, will, action, and you got to have that patience. You got to be moving forward every single day and have that perception. And that is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday.